Hi fans of high quality entertainment. I thought of this the other day and I thought this would make for an interesting top 10 list, at least for me. Choose 10 artists, rock artists, or whatever, blues artist, any musical artist that means the most to you in your life, and make a top 10 list. So for instance, you might choose all 4 Beatles in your list, but I didn't, because there are other artists I love just as much, or almost as much as the Beatles. And so this is my list, and they're not in any particular order. You don't have to put yours in, 1 to 10, but just list 10 musicians or singers that have meant the most to you in your life. And that being said, I'm also not mentioning all of the artists that I like and love. I can't. So don't be saying to me, where is Motorhead? I love Motorhead. So some of the artists, some of the people that did not make my list are Micky Dolenz of the Monkees. I think he is a really underrated talent. I loved his vocals in the Monkees, and he was a really good actor and very funny. So I've gotten a lot of entertainment with him and the Monkees through the years. Johnny Cash. I remember my dad's Johnny Cash albums, Orange Blossom Special, and the double album, Something About the West. 25 Minutes to Go is one of the songs on the album. And of course his American recordings. Yeah, I just love Johnny Cash. Who doesn't like Johnny Cash? John Fogerty, Mr. Creedence Clearwater Revival. I almost stumbled over that. I just woke up 2 hours ago, okay? Neil Young. What I really love about him is throughout his career, he's just always done whatever the hell he wants to do. He hasn't been, he's not selling out or anything. I don't love everything he's done, but there's a lot of albums of his and songs that I do love. George Harrison. He didn't make my top 10, but that doesn't mean I don't love the guy. I love his songs in the Beatles. I love quite a bit of his solo career, his songs. So he's on the list. Now, I'm not mentioning Ringo Starr, but I have nothing against Ringo Starr. He was 1/4 of the friggin' Beatles. I love him. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. Donald Buck Harma, is it? I don't think it's Dharma. Maybe it's Dharma. Buck Dharma. Rozier. Very underrated guitarist for Blue Oyster Cult. He's, they're mainly known for Don't Fear the Reaper, Godzilla, Burning for You. All 3 songs written by Donald Buck Harma. But I love his guitar work throughout Blue Oyster Cult's career. See, there I go again. Now I'm noticing when I do that, because somebody mentioned that a few weeks ago in every video. It's not a nervous tick. It's just an annoying habit I have. Jimmy Page. What he did with Led Zeppelin, not just as a guitarist and a songwriter, but as a producer. The Led Zeppelin albums sounded superb. Now, all 3 members of Rush are very, very, very talented musicians. They're way up there. They're at the top. But I have just chosen Alex Lifeson. His guitar work throughout the years is just phenomenal. Chris Squire of Yes, his bass playing. He is well, there's Paul McCartney, but he's way at the top as definitely my first or second favorite bass guitarist. Who cares, right? He's at the top. He's number one. So's Paul McCartney. And he had a really nice voice too. Very underrated. Sadly, he passed away when he was only 27. Alan Wilson of Canned Heat. Great guitarist. I loved his vocals. You might have heard of the song Going Up the Country. That's Alan Wilson. Going up the country, where they gonna go? Sounds just like him. This guy, I don't know about now, I've never checked out his solo career at all, but I consider him a genius with lyrics, songwriting, vocals even. David Byrne of Talking Heads. Gord Downie of Canada's The Tragically Hip. Sadly, he passed away a few months ago from brain cancer. I had an itch there. That wasn't a nervous tick. And a lot of his songs really resonate with me. It's just, well, the band's great. Definitely one of the greatest Canadian bands of all time. I'm itching myself. And this guy, when I looked at my top 10, I was thinking, who can I take out to put him in? Because I was listening to him once again on Spotify. I only have a couple of CDs at the moment, but I'd love to get all of his early albums. But he would be, I guess he would be number 11 on the list, I think. Elvis Costello. You thought I was going to say Presley. Elvis Costello. His early albums with The Attractions. The Attractions were a great band, by the way. I lost interest in him after around the time of Spike. Spike was a great album, but after that, and there was one more album I bought, and then Mighty Like a Rose was the final album that I bought by him. But all of those early albums I absolutely love. And now for the moment you haven't been waiting for. My top 10 list for people to argue about and give me insults. These aren't in any particular order. And this is for now. This isn't for, I guess, for instance, a year ago, some of these people would not be on my list, but now they've influenced my life or meant so much to me in the last year or couple of years that they are now in my top 10 list. Yoko Ono. I just love a lot of her music from the 70s. Approximately Infinite Universe, a double album, is just absolutely one of my favorite albums of all time. Fly, her first album, solo album, Yoko Ono and the Plastic Ono Band, and some of the songs she did with John Lennon, like on Double Fantasy, definitely in my top 10. Probably kind of near the bottom, but still, she's in my top 10 list. Now this guy doesn't play any instruments, so he shouldn't be on my list. No, it's just anybody, singers, guitarists, drummers, whatever. Russell Mael of Sparks, absolutely one of my all-time favorite singers. He's got such a range from the highest to the lowest. Just listen to This Town Ain't Big Enough for Both of Us, and then Popularity, All You Ever Think About Is Sex. Just anything. Lou Reed. There are some songs by Lou Reed. He really isn't the greatest singer, but there are some songs like Rock and Roll, when he was in the Velvet Underground. Just and Sister Ray, the energy in his voice, it's like whatever this guy is singing, he is really meaning it. It's coming from his soul. The Bed from Berlin. Just sad songs. So many. I could list a whole list. That's right, I could. Lou Reed. There's a brother. I've already mentioned one of them. His brother. In my top 10 list. Ron Mael of Sparks. He could possibly be my favorite, I wouldn't say maybe songwriter, but lyric writer. And just so witty, sometimes funny, not always funny, but a lot of the times funny. And of course his personality, his crazy live performances when he's sitting there at the keyboards looking really bored, especially early on. I mean, he's still great, but early on he'd be, like, I can't do it. But you'd have to check him out. Paul McCartney did a fairly decent impersonation of Ron Mael in his video Coming Up. So check that out sometime. Not now. You're watching this video. And a few months ago, this person wouldn't even be in my top 50, but he's in my top 10 for sure. David Bowie. I've always liked him, but I've never been like a fan of his. I've bought a CD here and there through the years, or a vinyl album back in the 70s, but he just never connected with me fully until now. I'm a super big fan of Low, Scary Monsters and Super Creeps, Black Star, and Ziggy Stardust, of course, and I still need to check out all of his albums. I've even heard some of his later albums on Spotify, just listen to a little bit of it, and it's like, this is good. This is really good. I was overacting there. Well, I'll mention these two together because they're I don't know, they both mean the same to me. From the band, yes. John Anderson, his vocals, I don't think any singer has affected me, especially in the last year or two, as John Anderson. There's certain songs of his, of the band's, yes, but when he's singing, the tears flow. He just means a hell of a lot to me. Yeah. And Steve Howe. He's my all-time favorite guitarist, but I wouldn't have said that even a year ago. I always thought he was great, but just in the last year or two, there's so many, and he can do like an Eddie Van Halen kind of crazy guitar solo too. And of course his acoustic work, and he also gets to my heart and soul with some of his guitar work, especially when he plays the steel, what's that called? Steel slide guitar thingy. That's what it's called. 2 more to go. Who do you think they are? You must be psychic. Oh, there's 3 more to go. I almost missed one. Boy, I'd never hear the end of that. Frank Zappa. If there's anything as a musical genius, he would be... Oh, that's my laundry. Just joking there. Frank Zappa. If there's anything as a musical genius, he would be right up there with Prince and whoever else. I loved his humor, his guitar playing. He's definitely one of my all-time favorite guitarists. Frank Zappa. And the Mothers of Invention. 2 left. Peace and Love, Peace and Love. No, it's not Ringo Starr. It's John Lennon and Paul McCartney. You may have heard of them. What can you say about those two? Nothing. That's right. And that's my top 10 list. Yeah, whatever. Oh my God, there's some others. See, I have 2 pages. I just noticed. There's 1, 2, 3. There's 6 more. Well, I think I did I mention Ringo Starr? Yeah, he's on my list, but he's not in the top 10. But he's, you know, in my list of favorite artists. I'm so excited. There's Burton Cummings of the Guess Who. I feel one of the most underrated rock singers of all time. When he was in the Guess Who, he was just amazing. Ian Anderson. There's a genius for you, from Jethro Tull. Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. That's right. Ringo Starr. See, look, I'm not lying to you. It's right there. Along with Pete Townsend of The Who. Not that I don't love Roger Daltrey and Keith Moon and John Entwistle, but it's just Pete Townsend, he's a genius. He's just like me. That's it. Wasn't that entertaining? I was even funny a couple of times. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Remember to check out my community on my front page. Right at the top, you scroll over and there's community, and there's probably 250 music polls for you to check out. Have a great day. Bye. Bunch of losers. Yeah, I know.